Good morning, good afternoon, Lab Coat Agents. I'm with Brian Curtis, and I'm here today with Marcus Willard and CC Underwood, and we're going to talk today about how to use social media to grow your influence. And CC is one of those experts who uses all kinds of different social media. So obviously, we're on Facebook. That's one of the things that we'll probably talk about. But there's lots of other social media platforms, and we're excited to talk about that today. But before I do that, just a little administrative stuff. For those of you who are amazed by all this content, want to watch it again, it will be live on our YouTube channel for Lab Coat Agents, and we will put that in the chat as well as in the group. So I'm sure there's going to be a ton of great information today, and we will you'll be able to watch it over and over again. So I'm excited to do that. And let me just pass over to CC. And CC, I'd love to just hear a little bit about what you've done over the last period of time. I don't know, 2-3 years. I know I've watched some of your stuff and would love to hear about what you're doing, what's your process, and what suggestions you might have for people.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully can be something good for all agents, just multifaceted when you're using social media. We use it as leverage for a lot of different things now. So I'm a team, and part of our onboarding strategy with our new agents is to teach them how to use social media to influence, engage, and overall build confidence. So that law of attraction, so people want to reach out to them, how they can show themselves as being the expert wherever they are. And that whole adage, fake it till you make it, it's not really faking it. You're showing people that you are active, that you are serious about being a professional in real estate, and you get to do it with video, you get to have fun. So we set up strategies for them to go out and do videos. We give them topics and ideas to stay top of mind. It's great from a team perspective for recruiting. We get to showcase who we are as a team, what we do, what makes us different, our value proposition. We do the myths of a team and truths of a team, and hey, why we're not for you, as well as why we might be someone you'd work with, and just overall how to use it for buyers and sellers to educate and to communicate with your database. So you can really use social media for an individual agent, a team, or to grow your business.
So let's pretend for a second that I know nothing about social media outside of I have a Facebook account, and I've managed to start watching this webinar on Lab Coats today. What would be the first thing you would tell someone, maybe who's joining your team, or if you were just coaching in general? What would you say? Okay, because it feels overwhelming to a lot of people. People who are in my age group, almost 50, and then older than that, they're like, social media. So, what is the first key? Because I don't think it's that hard, but sometimes it's just, how do I get over the very first step? So what would be your first thing you tell somebody to do?
Don't make too many accounts. Stick with what you have. Stop creating your business accounts and Instagram and a separate account on Facebook. And you're not a separate person. You don't, why in the world would you divert someone from your personal interactive page to a non-existent, no likes, no following business page? Why would you bring them away from that? They don't want it. So that's first and foremost, and actually kind of a role with our team for marketing and advertising rules, guidelines, and also because your people, you already have a place where your people are. You don't need a new place. So that's one thing that we tell them. Streamline. Don't overthink it. Your people are already there. Just work to grow that and show them. We talk a lot about mind share. It is a mind share game with social media. And the second you help a buyer buy into a neighborhood, they've now just bought into a neighborhood with probably 10 other realtors that live in it, all wanting to take that mind share away from you, all wanting to build a relationship with them as their new realtor. So even more so, like, you have to keep in mind, just because you sold it to them doesn't mean they have any obligation to stay with you. So I think building that social media, adding them as a friend, keeping them in your bubble is so important. And you have to continue to show people that you're active. Hey, I'm touring new construction. You want to work with more new construction buyers? Well, then go make new construction videos. Allow people to see you as the person that goes and visits and talks to the builders and is educated about the builders. Same thing about a particular area. Just that digital mayor that you guys and everyone talks about is be present and show them who you are.
Love it.
That's
Marcus,
good.
love to hear any thoughts from you because, obviously StreetText is a company that does Facebook marketing, but at the same point in time, and here's what I know about Facebook. You don't want every single thing to be business. I know that part, I've just given you everything I know, but I do know that, Marcus, you work for a company that we advertise this type of stuff. So what's been your experience and ways for people to kind of blend that instead of just be all social or all business? And, what kind of things are you seeing that are working for you?
Well, I'm fascinated by CC because whenever I see her videos on Facebook, I know she's doing some TikTok stuff. So she'll have to tell us a little bit more about how she got in the TikTok world.
Absolutely.
But I also have been primarily driving Facebook myself for 6 years. And as someone who goes after relationships with realtors that I've never met before, just like you go after leads you've never met before, if we're using the idea of StreetText. So the idea for me has always been, how do I build relationship fastest? How do I develop this know, like, and trust model? Just like I tell everybody, I said, you've never met these people. CC's calling it mind share. You're wanting to create mind share in that type of market. Facebook is a place where people get to know you instantly, and they kind of almost make an immediate judgment, or you make an impression on who you are, and that likability factor, which we dismiss. No one talks about it, but instantly they're able to tell who you are in a way, and they kind of figure out, is this a person I could see hanging out with? And I think ultimately that winning friends and influencing people kind of idea, it allows you to be front and center. That's why video is so massive and important. So for me, Facebook, from the business perspective, I've always leveraged my personal Facebook. I've always said, back in the day, it was all about generating followers and likes on business. But now all I know about the business page, it really doesn't matter unless you're paying Facebook for it.
Yep. You're running ads. That's the only reason.
Sponsoring, boosting. Facebook doesn't care. They're not going to put it in someone's newsfeed unless you're paying them directly to put it in someone's newsfeed. Let's just be honest.
So I want you to repeat that real quick, because that didn't used to be true. So there's an illusion out there that, hey, if I can get me 10,000 Facebook followers on my business page, that I'm going to be able to advertise to these 10,000 people for free. I want you to tell me how what I just said is 100% true or 100% false, because I think I know the answer, but I want to make sure I understand that I'm not getting that at free advertising anymore, correct?
Well, I mean, just go in your news feed right now and start scrolling down. Like, do you see anybody that you've ever followed?
Absolutely.
Right? Like, so they might call them followers and likes, but very few of them ever show up in your feed unless you see a sponsored post.
Yep.
So I've always looked at it in terms of Facebook is a place where, okay, if you're building influence and you're trying to expand your influence, and now with Facebook, as maybe hopefully people know at this point, you have to drop a 15-mile minimum radius. And I know that sucks for most people, like, because you want to be in your neighborhood, you want to be in your towns, you want to be in your zip codes, but it immediately forces you to have to adapt and create a bigger influence no matter what. And so in many ways, it kind of get you out of your comfort zone, because you're going to have to serve a wider audience. In some cases, hundreds of thousands, not millions of people that could potentially see that. So I've always said, okay, if someone clicks on that business page, submits their information, and this is coming from my perspective if someone's activating a trial as a realtor, or your perspective if someone's wanting to know what their home is really worth, or a list of properties, so whatever that is, they're looking at your listing. That moment, there's this opportunity to connect. And I think that's the key, is that you have to make it human. And so it doesn't matter if you use automations or text messages or anything. For me, it's always been, let's take it back to Facebook, where it all got started. And if I could send you a friend request and I can somehow communicate why you want to actually message me, or you want to accept my messenger request in a way that's authentic and genuine, now the relationship begins on Facebook, and you can immediately see who I am. And I'm not just a StreetText guy trying to get you your business, or just like you're not just a real estate agent, right, trying to get their business, but you're a human being with all this, like, you're fun, you're sharing family stuff with your kids. And I think that's the relatable. My wife she calls it, from a TV show that she created, raw, real, relatable. People are looking for that. People in this world right now, especially, are craving authenticity. They don't necessarily have to agree with everything you say, but at least you're speaking truth. So I think that's ultimately what we need to have an opportunity is for us to connect. And so I always say use Facebook or wherever social media you have to lead and build your tribe, because they're going to eventually choose you for that, whether or not you think so. It's going to happen. They're going to either decide this is a person I like, or I'm not going to follow them. Just like I have my kids screaming in the background right now. I can hear them. It's just part of my life. I'm working in a trailer in front of my house, right? I have no control what happens outside there. But I think that transparency is key. And in this world, like there's so much BS, and how do we filter through all that BS? And I think immediately we try to create relationship. And so if someone sees that authenticity and you're coming from contribution, you're coming from value, and you're not just trying to sell them something, that's your fastest way to a relationship.
Awesome. Love that. So Cece, let's pretend that, there's somebody's watching who's never created any social media content. And maybe they've done a post, but, 10 years ago, we did posts that, were just text, and that doesn't work nowadays. So what are you seeing, and like, what would be a couple of steps for somebody who was going to create maybe their first Facebook post, their first TikTok, their first Instagram, whatever one? And again, I'll let you to pick and find out, talk about the different impacts of which one of those are working best for you and your team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at first, just to echo what Marcus is saying, is be you. So while I believe in the rip off and duplicate method, rip off their content ideas, rip off their, get your content strategy, see what works, see if those people have engagement, follow all the people that you like that style, but recreate it, right? You're duplicating it. You're not copying it. You're duplicating it into something that is who you are. In all of our community videos, there's so many great realtors that I follow that do wonderful YouTube videos and listing videos. However, their personality is not my personality. So I'm not going to go and try to be like them in my video. It's going to look real weird, like really weird. I'm going to be me, and I'm a more chill, more relaxed type of personality. So I do my best for every community video I do to add a little fun in it and just some of my personality, so people can see that I'm not the professional realtor, and like I can't. It drives me nuts. So I was just trying to have a little fun, and that's where, like, you don't have to do Facebook and Instagram. Like, I'm horrible with Instagram. Our team runs our team Instagram account, but I love the content creation. Right? I can leverage out the editing, leverage out someone else to post it. I will primarily post on TikTok and Facebook. Those are my two primary sources. And now I'm starting the 100 video and 100-day challenge, courtesy of Ken Posick. And we're going to blow up our YouTube channel. So it's a very streamlined focus.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where do you come up with your content then? Are you watching other people and then stealing their content and making it CC'd, or are you creating your own content? Do you mastermind? So, because I think that's one of the challenges a lot of people have. I would do a video, but I don't know what to do a video about. And I feel like there's a pretty simple answer to that. Mostly that just sounds like a limiting belief or an excuse, but let's break through that, because that's what's keeping a lot of people from doing it. No one's going to like it. I don't know what the heck to say, and I'm going to sound stupid, right? We've all heard those excuses when we come to video.
I stutter. A lot of my videos, I'm like, and even the community video I just created, I'm in rollerblades and almost bust my ass. And he's like, do you want to re-record that? I'm like, absolutely not. Like, no, like, we're keeping that in. I'm like, whoa.
It's so funny you say that, CC. I just did a rollerblading video that my wife posted me, and we call it strollerblading, and I'm pushing the kids.
I actually saw that. You're like going down.
And I almost tripped and fell, and then she got a good laugh out of it. So yeah, people love that stuff.
It is, to me, it's absolutely the best. And I think, again, we overthink content. So I think where a lot of people struggle is writing it down. When the thought comes in, jot it down somewhere. So either a Siri, just talk to text somewhere. Hey, Siri, add this. Yesterday, we were talking about appraisals, and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing a video for that. Right. It just right then and there, something came up, and we're talking about how a buyer was going to be charged $2,000 just to get an appraisal.
Yikes.
And I'm like, oh, no, that's good. Just little stuff that comes out through the day. I don't worry about if it's going to be good. I don't worry about if someone's going to watch it. Our focus is get the content, record the video, keep it as short as possible, which TikTok has actually helped me so much in creating short, like very, precise content. And it has actually helped so much with that. And TikTok, I don't worry about anything else. Like, hey, titles, description, SEO tags, those are important. But for me, content and create it.
And now they have short reels with Facebook.
Yeah, everyone's
that. So you could basically they're trying to do the same thing as TikTok, right? So you could basically take your content from TikTok and just push it right back into Facebook just to double up. Yeah. And are you doing that type of stuff? Like when you post something, do you have a social media coordinator that just pushes all of it out, or how do you make sure to put it across all platforms?
It's different, and not everything I post on TikTok is going to be appropriate for Instagram, for their reels, or for YouTube shorts. So it's saved on TikTok. It automatically saves to your phone. So I automatically save it. You could also have the option within TikTok, which I love recording videos there. Even if TikTok did nothing, it's just a great video recording platform because you can easily add music, you can add text, you can add your auto captions. It's just so simple. I don't need to go learn iMovie. And then you pop that thing in Canva, put a thumbnail on it, and you're done. But you could also save it as a live video. So then it takes away the watermarks, and then you are able to upload on Reels. And all I do is I just mute the music, and then I find the music on Reels. So it looks like it's naturally added on the Instagram platform.
I think CC should teach a TikTok 101 class.
TikTok is awesome. And we get direct buyer referrals and we get agent referrals from TikTok.
We should ask everybody right now, how many would want CC to teach a TikTok class? Me.
You don't have to dance. I just like
but I will just for fun, just to because I'll get a kick out of it. But no, that's exciting for me because I know that's where the new world is. Like my wife's on there at least an hour every single night. And she's like, you got to get on TikTok. I'm like, I'm just trying to do Facebook right now. Like, I don't even know where I can like find time to do TikTok. I don't do Instagram, like I follow people, I guess, on Twitter a little bit. We got YouTube, but our team does it. So I think I've always found like, do where you feel most comfortable and what you're best at. Like do that one thing.
Yes. And TikTok, honestly, people are so fun. I just enjoy humanity as a whole on TikTok. I appreciate everyone's candor. I appreciate everything that they do and create in there because it's just a happy platform.
And that's awesome. So let's talk about frequency. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to spend 20 hours a week creating this video content. It's not worth it. I won't have time to work. So, as someone who's putting out a ton of content, and because I see a lot of your content, like how many hours a day, week, month are you spending doing that? And what has been, obviously we've talked about some other return, but if you look at return on time versus other lead generation sources, how is it working for you? Because maybe I don't want to make phone calls anymore. Maybe I'm sick of calling FSBOs and expireds and all this other stuff. Maybe I want this to be a little bit more organic, which is my guess is what you're having success with. So start with how much time do you spend a week on it?
I would say, maybe 5 hours.
1 hour a day if you want to break it down and assume there's 5-day work week. So and wow, that's amazing because if we have a perception that CC puts out a ton of content. So, and I think you do put out a ton of content compared to your average agent, but it's only 5 hours a week, guys. That's not very much time. Realistically, you should, I don't know how many hours you're working, but that gives you 35 more hours a week if you're just working for 40 hours. So ton of time. And what kind of leverage are you seeing from it? Obviously you said you literally get buyers from TikTok. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Like why, what's happening that's causing that to happen?
I think people they watch and follow. So the whole, I talk a lot about the mind share of social media. It's our job is to be there. That is literally our job, to be there, be present. And they will reach out when they are ready. And it is the perfect platform. Really any social media platform But on TikTok, it's education. People love the education. And of course, they also love the controversy. So it's also really fun to watch people interact, and that, kind of grows your audience. That, growing the followers isn't as important as the quality of the people, the quality of the interaction that you get. So I don't really worry about those type of things. Just get it out and get people. We're even asking someone, hey, would you like a free home buyer guide? We had like 20 people that were emailing us. Yes, I'd like the buyer guide. Please, please, please. I mean, they're just hungry for that stuff.
That's amazing. And let me ask you this, like, do you ever know when the video is going to be good or not? Like my experience, and I have limited, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this perfect video and 7 people watch it. And then I put up a piece of garbage because I said I would do it and 400 people watch it. So have you found any pattern to it at all as you're creating content?
No, I'm the same as you. I have one that I think was such good content. I was so excited about, like flops and gets 400 people that see it. And then something else I do that was kind of quick and off the, kind of just whim. It does really, really well, and it'll get 20,000, 50,000 views on it and a ton of comments. And I love those. I'm just interacting with people. I'm commenting. So it's really fun just to put it out there and see the music. And, to the time thing, to your point, I'll actually schedule out 1 hour. So one day I came in the office and had my 1 hour, and I literally recorded 22 or 27 videos. I can't, all in 1 hour.
Wow.
It was just like rapid fire real estate, one after the other. And instead of making one video that's 5 minutes long, I broke that down into a lot of 60-second content.
So let me ask you this. Did you record for 10 minutes straight and just keep talking and then chop it up? Or did you stop? Because I think that's one of the things I've seen people do. I record it, oh, I hate it. And I record it again and I hate it. Just keep going, right, is what I'm hearing you say, and then come back and edit all those pieces out. Is that your process?
Oh, yes. And I just I have my ring light, something to set my phone on, and I'll hit record. And the only edits I really have to do is the forward at the very beginning. And I just send it to our marketing. I was like, here you go. Here's my Google Drive. Like I'll upload everything from my phone to a Google Drive, send it to her. She puts it in Canva, makes thumbnails, and we're done. Like dump day.
It sounds like, if I do math, and it's going to be bad math, but it's close, you in 1 hour created enough content to put a piece of content out every day of the month, short of 3 days. But I mean, think about that, guys. How many people have created 27 pieces of video content this year, let alone in 1 hour? And, now for everybody who's watching, don't freak out if you can't create 27 videos in an hour. That's not what we're saying here.
I'm freaked out right now.
Marcus just quit. and that's amazing.
I need a class. I need to be taught, CC. I think it's seriously though, like there needs to be that type of TikTok instruction, because we all know that's where the social world is heading, right? Just I think there'll be a lot of people hungry for it. So just something to think about, Tristan. Put it together. I'm sure you've already got asked about it.
And you can utilize Fiverr, right? Even if you don't want to mess with Canva, you don't want to learn that stuff, just get on Fiverr and send them the videos.
I love
that. I kind of like, though, you have a process. And I think once you know how that, it does help to have a team that you can kind of delegate certain responsibilities to, right? I think I look at one of our more successful clients at StreetText, Jakey Patel, who's also LCA moderator. And I was so surprised to learn that it's just her and her daughter as the agents. But what she's created around her is she's got 2 VAs, I think 3 ISAs, a social media coordinator, and a director of operations. I'm like, wow, that is legit right there. That's true scalability.
Oh, yes. People, especially when growing teams, they tend to think the agents grow the team. And there is a huge part of that. However, your operations, your systems, your leverage, there's so much more you can leverage out operational wise than there is to an agent, because the agents, yes, they can sell and they can bring you more business, but you have no idea what that added leverage does. Someone to, like I said, you can hire that virtual assistant to edit, create. You can create a template of video. So for our 100 videos in 100 days, that's the one thing we started thinking about was what's the system? How do we efficiently, through a team, get this done? And I know what my job is. So I am recording the videos and I will do title and description. Then it will go and someone will, we have a video library. So you go ahead and pre-choose the videos, get like 20 different music choices that you like, and just tell the guys to rotate it, right? You don't have to spend a whole lot of time finding something. Create your library, use it over and over. The music's going to be very low in the background anyway. And I'll also, every video I do, I just take a selfie or do a bunch of thumbnails in different positions with my hands, and it looks funny. Sometimes I like, and that way, again, I've got a thumbnail library that you just constantly choose from.
I love that. You know, you're keeping it simple, and I love that you have a system, because anybody who's out there, the thing that keeps you from doing things over and over and over again is a lack of a system. So, because what do people do? There's going to be a bunch of people who are going to watch this and they're going to go, great, I'm going to go make content. They're going to do it once and they're not going to have a system to do it over and over again. They're going to say it's really hard and they're going to quit. So along those lines, when you made your first video and first did this whole thing, because I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even have a TikTok account. I mean, I've seen TikTok stuff. I watch your stuff that somehow ends up on Facebook stories from TikTok, I think. I don't know. Again, I'm not the best social media guy. But ultimately, I see that. But how much that first video, I'm going to guess it took significantly longer than creating 27 videos in an hour. So, you know, I want to set reasonable expectations for people. My first TikTok video, realistically, after I changed it 27 times because I'm freaked out, how long is that going to take me?
So I would say the hardest, what I thought, because we all go through a process of learning, changing, getting more efficient. So I was there too. When I first started TikTok, I didn't know what I wanted to use it for, how I wanted to use it, who I wanted to be on the platform, all those things. And so I spent a lot of time learning dances. I spent way too much time learning those dances, sweating, trying to do what all the younger people were doing. It was more workout than anything else. But now I just look for the music. You know, if it's a quick, easy dance, it's fine. I'm not overly concerned with the dancing now. I am concerned with the content. And there's a great website called Answer the Public. So you can go to Answer the Public and type in real estate for your industry, and it's going to have all the questions that the public, you know, tends to ask questions on. And what I would say just to follow that same scale as answer a question. If you want to learn how to keep your video short, just answer the question. And that is your video. If you cannot answer someone's questions in 60 seconds or less, you're likely adding fluff. It's a lot of fluff. So get to the point, answer the question. And that's how you create quick, fast content. Don't try to tell a story. Just answer someone's question, and that will create multiple videos for you to use. And then you can use a scheduler. If you did 27 videos and you got them all edited, I mean, you can make that go out for 2 months. You can use that, 3 days a week, 2 months content, whatever you needed.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I've been coached to just get one piece of content a week. So if you're doing 3, well, that's got to be more effective. So Marcus, what'd you have?
Mm-hmm.
No, I said that's gold. That's gold. I mean, I just push content out whenever I can, or when the team asks of me. But I'm just thinking, like, wrapping this around, because you're doing TikTok and such, or in just social media in such a way where you naturally people are gravitating towards you just because who you are, how fun you are, your personality. I was going to show just a little bit of a intentional way that might help you to leverage your own Facebook, let alone your own StreetText ads, because you already got that great following. So I'm just thinking about, how do I strategically help you generate these leads and they get to know you just like they're getting to know you through TikTok, right? And so I think if you don't mind, I'll share my screen, because I'll just go to one of your ads, CC, and I'll kind of, here's an ad CC is running right now with StreetText. It's what's your home really worth? Enter your address to receive your home value. I'm just gonna take that message off. So here's an ad like this. It's funny. You can let ads go all day, and all of a sudden you're gonna see random comments on there. So that's one thing I'll tell you. Like, some guy made a random comment about, I think he was just trying to be funny about iron, and he went into a full paragraph about
I don't know that I've ever gotten one that's quite that
poured
long
out as
on
if
any
furnace is
mine.
the internal structure of the iron is like small spheres of. Yeah, you should just reply with some sort of GIF. That's what I would do. Anyways, you'll get lots of random people on there. I think the best thing to do with people who comment on your ads is to kill it with funny humor. I use GIFs personally. Okay, but so here's an ad that people often see, something like this. What's your home really worth? Enter your address, receive your home value. There's your brand, but most people, when they're scrolling down their Facebook news feed, this is where, that interruption-based marketing, digital door knocking, think of it that way. I don't know CC yet. Probably, maybe I do because I've seen other videos out there, but I wouldn't equate it if I'm scrolling down my feed because your tiny little pictures there. They wouldn't see this, right? This would be on their phones most of the time. So the click happens, the submission happens. This person goes in the Florida area and decides to give you an address, right? That's happening high frequently amount of times. 60 to 70% of those clicks will submit that. This is kind of where the rubber hits the road, the permission to contact you via email. So this is where I think your personality needs to shine, because on the other side of that, we need to create something with you that allows them to meet you, right? So that this would be super easy for you to create, whether you're there or the team's there. The idea is interrupting that thought process of what I thought I was about to receive with, here's CC, introducing yourself, communicating. And, in this case, I won't play her video, but she has a little link that says meet me on Facebook. And that Facebook takes me directly to Wendy's personal Facebook page. And Wendy, you get to know a lot about her right there when you click on that.
Yes.
The branding, even her picture, she keeps her picture the same as her email signature. She's a big, in Vegas, she does a lot of stuff with Jeeps, and that's kind of her personality. So, and then when you start scrolling down her feed, it's not all real estate. There is real estate, but just like there she is at this little pool party and right? You get to know who this person is a little bit just by scrolling down their feed. So that's almost the way that I kind of want to help you think about it in terms of, or any realtor out there, if you're running ads and there's an opportunity, the moment someone submits information, for them to get a sense of your personality and to know you and see, and like not feel like, or interpret that process anything other than you want them to, make sure you're there at front and center. Otherwise, the interpretation is unfortunately going to be, you're just trying to sell me.
Yeah, we actually get so many of those CMA requests, and I love the quality of the leads, because I can go through, and we're connected in through Follow Up Boss. So we still are using, Follow Up Boss as a CRM, and I can easily go in there, see, because our ISA, she's in there, the leads come in, they're high quality. I can go in and see that CMA appointment has been set with one of our agents. They're going to get to have a conversation. So, that's us using it as a team. And part of our videos, I am going to start scheduling, like we're going to have the welcome videos. I've gone through Jennifer Salter's program, and I just love her videos and the way she communicates. She's just a really great agent too with StreetText, and following her lead on that intro video. And there's, did you get the CMA? Do you have any questions? Just that high FaceTime. I say that a lot. It's whenever we used to be able to do open houses. There's no substitution for FaceTime. If you have a phone appointment, you need to make it a Zoom appointment or FaceTime. As much face interaction you can have with a customer, the faster you're going to build that trust. So we are working on having some of that evergreen video content to just incorporate and say, hey, and get to know our team a little better.
Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead, Brian. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, you've been doing this for a long time as far as being an agent. I don't know how many years, but I think I met you in 2016, so it's at least 5 years. And you were a successful agent when I met you in 2016. But one of the other things I think might be interesting to talk about is, as you've done video over the last 3, 4, 5 years, however long that's been, how has that helped you when you go on appointments? Are the appointments different in any way now when people are seeing your videos, or is it the same as it was when you basically just showed up and did a listing appointment with an expired 5 years ago? So is it different, and how is it different as you go through that?
I will say more people see our videos. We've gotten business from YouTube, from our community videos. They're all a little bit different sometimes they're integrated. So sometimes people will go to TikTok and then they'll find me on Instagram, and they'll reach out to me on Instagram. And the first words are, hey, I saw your video on TikTok, right? A lot of times they use TikTok as a fun place and they still want that professional verification. So they're going to go to other platforms, right? Then they're going to Google you. They're going to see where you come up. They're going to see if you have mutual friends. So I do think, even though Instagram's not as consistent as TikTok and Facebook and YouTube is for us, it still holds value in terms of that's their primary source, right? That's their primary social media, is where they are going to tend to reach out to you because they're going to go find you.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Marcus, what you got?
Well, I was going to say, you got to think about who your audience is anyways. And I think the reason why I still think Facebook dominates is because it's got every generation from, my mom and dad, right, who are in their 70s, almost 80s. They're on Facebook. And so is that generation, the baby boomers, the Generation Y, the millennials, the Xers, everybody. It's on Facebook. That's why it's the biggest platform. I mean, TikTok's coming up on it, but you'll see it for who you're going after, especially home sellers. That's where you want to be.
Yes.
Right. Because the true, we overthink this, but this is why video is better suited on, let's just say, a place like Facebook for retargeting than it is for interruption-based marketing.
Yes.
Because if you look at this just generic ad that we have with just a satellite image of your area, it's pretty boring. It's like, what's your home really worth? Enter your address, receive your home value. But the point of that is it's so boring and familiar and native to that audience that they're just like, at the end of the day, they're clicking on it and submitting their address 70% of the time. So, and then the odds are about 1 in 3 of those will give you an email. And that for me is digital door knocking. It opens you up to an opportunity to connect, to humanize it, to create a relationship. So in that in itself, you got to think of it that way, because all you're looking to do is create more relationships and create more influence. And as long as they can feel your authenticity and know you're coming from contribution and value, it doesn't have to be about simply CMA, because a lot of people overthink it. I have always said, listen, one of the coolest strategies I've seen recently is this guy, Joe Rohinsky in Connecticut. He just sends back a list of recent market sales in a half-mile radius with similar bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. So what does that do? That builds intrigue, and you can follow up on that list. Better yet, he didn't do video because he's not a video guy. He's more of a cold caller, expires, and that's his powerhouse. But I encouraging him right now just because I'm like, well, imagine it with the CC personality. You come in there and you say, hey, here's what we're going to do as a team to begin, just so you can see like a current snapshot of the market of homes like yours. And then when you're following up, they're already like, well, this home is kind of like mine. And that's what it just sold for. Like, I need to know what my home is valued at.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a question, and I want to make sure that we've got about 5 minutes left. I want to make sure we got that answered. So I'm going to pass this to you, CC, because it sounds like Marcus and I know combined nothing about TikTok together. But so the person said, aren't TikTok watchers young? Like, what age group would you put them in, and how many of them really own houses?
So I'm not sure on the statistic of how many of them own houses. What I will say is TikTok, the mom and young professional group, is a very ever-growing audience with TikTok. And so when you're on the platform, TikTok will show you more of what you engage with. So the more moms you engage with, the more young professionals, the more realtors you engage with, you're going to see more of their content, and they're going to see more of yours. The reason why they call it a For You page is because it is content for you, and you're going to be creating content for other people that want to see content. And a lot, just in terms of the younger age groups, depending on your area, just keep in mind, a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are doing side hustles, right? They're really engaging in the online money generation. They've got a main business, but they may also have 2 or 3 other side businesses. And we're seeing a lot of younger homeowners in that $75,000 to $100,000 range. If they're a social media influencer, if they're working online, they're running a business out of their home, And so we actually get a much younger, I would say 25 to 35 is a really chunky age group for us on TikTok. And that's pretty much what we cater to. And I think it's because we are putting the content out there. We're getting a lot of engagement and we're answering questions, and they'll message me and they'll ask back like, hey, what about this? Or, hey, I'm thinking about investing. And you really get to just have true conversations offline with those people.
Well, and I'll add, there was a perception about 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't know exactly time. It's hard to tell. In the pandemic, it's just Groundhog Day anyway. But there was a perception a while ago that millennials weren't buying houses, but that's no longer true. So all of us people, I'm a Gen Xer, almost 50 years old. And so, and I was under that impression, well, why advertise to millennials? They're not buying houses. But I saw a statistic that almost 70% of millennials are setting a goal to buy a house. And by the way, they make pretty good money. They're just not doing it the way that, our parents
I'm a millennial.
Marcus is a millennial. He owns a house.
I'm on my second.
Yeah. So I would say to all of you who believe that millennials aren't buying houses, go look at the last statistics in the last 18 months. That was true 5 years ago, but it is no longer true. So yes, maybe you're only getting the millennials and the young moms, but guess what? They have money and buying power.
We're also the generation that doesn't believe anything we see, and we do our research.
There you go.
That's another rabbit hole for another conversation.
Exactly. We only got 2 minutes. We're probably not going to fit that one in, but I think it's a huge mistake when agents are ignoring millennials. I think you're missing a huge segment. Yeah, you still sell to boomers, but most of them, they're done. They're waiting for, they're in their last house. Millennials are the people who are moving, and those are the people who are looking to buy houses now.
And they do want professionals. If you haven't, also check out Glenda Baker. She's an Atlanta realtor. She's on TikTok, and she is like 100% voice-based content, and she has her own personality, her own style, and she's a great luxury real estate agent. And, she talks a lot about her demographic in Atlanta. That's its own different, where she is downtown. I think she's in Cobb. But just so you get a little different perspective on age groups and content creation, it can be whatever you want as long as you are consistent. Her name is Glenda Baker.
Glenda Baker.
That's cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I want to just take a second because this webinar was sponsored by StreetText, and give a shout out to those guys. Marcus, thanks so much for being here, and we appreciate you sharing your knowledge along this line. But I do want to say this: if you're not using StreetText, it's a great opportunity to run social media ads without having to be a social media genius. And that is my absolute favorite thing about StreetText is once upon a time I used to know how to run an ad using the Facebook ad manager, but it's changed 27 times since I've even opened it up. I don't look at it. I don't have to because I have StreetText. So if I want to run an ad, I can do that. And here's the other great thing. They're offering a free 7-day trial. And arguably my favorite thing about StreetText is many companies will sell your product and go, hey, let us know. We got a webinar sometime next month and maybe you can come and join. StreetText is very hands-on. And what I mean by that is you can reach out. They'll assign you a coach who will literally give you one-on-one coaching that might cost you thousands of dollars in other places. They will walk you through, hold your hand, and get you to get that first ad out there, get you to get your first lead to come in. And then there's a great group to mastermind with. One of the things that I'm really excited about the mastermind group, you could put anything in there and people will answer you honestly. It's not, oh, well, Cece's in my market. I don't want to tell her how I do that. She's going to steal it from me. There's none of that. It's an abundant group. So in the chat, we've got the link, and we will also put it on the Facebook if those of you who are watching the review, and free 7-day trial with a coach. And I don't know how to beat free. Maybe someone could teach me, but I think that's a pretty amazing offer.
I don't have to say anything. You just said it for me. And I'll quickly share the screen. So this is when someone gets in there, what Brian was talking about, Facebook Ad Manager, that's the labyrinth of confusion. That's trying to figure that thing out and trying to interpret the data and the results, where it's quite easy. Like I can look at Cece's ad right now and say, okay, she spent X amount of dollars. She's got X amount of leads at $3.66 a lead, and 15 of those provided at least an email. Right. So that's the type of, and then I can go view the ad. I can go, edit the funnel. And when I start editing the funnel, I start putting in video within the funnel. I start putting text messages, and it's really fun. It's plug and play. So we make it easy for you to actually go get after new leads at very affordable when you compare it to other lead sources. But you spend the money with Facebook. You just want to spend it wisely, because even though the trial is free and eventually your membership is very cost effective, your ad spend is the variable. So what we want to do is we want to maximize that ad spend. Even if you run only $10 a day, let's make sure every $10 is getting a $1 click. 10 clicks later, you have 7 new addresses, a couple emails, and a phone number. You're like, okay, I can work with this predictably.
Absolutely. And then there's a system, and Marcus was just briefly showing that. If you have a CRM, great, you can use your own CRM. But if you're not a person who has a systemized CRM with drips and stuff built into it, StreetText has their own. And I think that's a great feature as well, because it just makes it simple. And, CC alluded to this earlier, rip off and deploy. So you don't have to figure all this out. We will, in our group, in these webinars and all these, we will literally teach you step-by-step processes that you can go through and get it done. So, really it all comes down to is, are you willing to take the action? It's no longer, I don't know what to do. It's, am I going to do it? And that's exactly what it comes with when you're doing videos. No longer can we make that excuse. Oh yeah, absolutely. So anyway, we're a couple minutes over, but I would love to hear final thoughts. Marcus, I'll start with you and then I'll finish with you, Cece.
I mean, you said it all. I said it. If you want to create and grow your influence, then be around a community of people, just like here in the LCA. At StreetText, we're the same type of collaborative, give first community that wants to see you win, and we're going to help you win. So we're going to take all the systems, integrations, scripts, strategies that you've already learned and introduce you to a community that are just going to actually pour into you and give you their best, so that you have every chance to win those relationships immediately. So StreetText is just a program where it's not just lead generation, it's an entire solution. But the most important part of that is the community of people behind you, supporting you, and the coaching behind that as well. So give it a try, check out the trial.
Yeah, I'll just finish off and say, I mean, we all, as a realtor, we're constantly testing and spending a lot of money. Teams, we probably spend way more money than we should testing out lead generation platforms. And we have been very, very effective at running Facebook ads. But when it comes to seller lead generation, I can tell you it is completely different. We were StreetText, before, and we thought we learned how to do it and we're going to do it on our own. We did not have the same results. And our team is very savvy with ads. We're back at StreetText. The cost effectiveness, the high quality, your ability to see your true cost per lead, just as Marcus showed you guys, it truly is the best seller lead generation that we have used. And we've got a great pipeline and people that want to communicate with us. And we integrate it with, we've got HomeBot. So all the little add-ons are just going to influence you. And I learned so much from Jinky, from Jen. We take their courses, and being a lifelong learner, just getting better at conversion. So take it from me. We spent our money.
Thank you for that highlight, CC. I'm just going to clip that and make it a highlight reel. And then I'm going to put some advertising behind it and push it into new trials.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. And again, the replay will be available within 24 hours on LabCoats. And please, if you haven't used StreetText, give it a try, because it literally costs you nothing. Just go on there. You will pay for your own ads, but they're going to give you a free trial. Hold your hand through it. And I promise you'll get some leads. I'm not saying they're going to close tomorrow, but you'll get some good, high quality leads with, as Marcus said, just a $10 spend a day. So it's well worth it, and it's a great way to build a database. So,
hey, CC, how we find your TikTok handle?
Oh, good call.
Ooh, just at Selling with CC is TikTok and Facebook. I'm also, you can hit me up, just my personal CC Underwood.
Awesome.
There you go. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate y'all.
Thank
Thanks.
you.